Check, check. Hello, hello.
Hey, Goran, I hear you, man. This sounds
Hey,
great.
how you doing, buddy?
Doing well. You?
Good, good, good. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, I like the headphones. Those are great.
Yeah, those help out my wife in particular.
Oh, yeah, right. Great.
So I watched the competition first round last night. That was fun.
Yeah, yeah. It's a new format to do this online stuff, you know.
Yeah,
But of course, people have done it for years, but we have done none of the like online
right.
competition as far as submission of videos online. So that's new for us this year.
Yeah, it was great. It was interesting to see how people were, setting up and miking and adding some
Mm,
reverb, and some were loud, some were soft. It
right.
was interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. You guys have, I'm sure, mastered the art of miking and all of that with your sets by now.
Well, I mean, I use this little Shure guy.
Uh-huh.
It's like a condenser microphone. Um,
Hmm. Which
Clips on my iPhone and also my computer.
which one
Um,
is that? Which model is that one?
so this one is MV88 Plus.
MV88 Plus. Okay, I think there was an MV80 around for a while that was
Yeah,
that clipped right into the phone, right?
right,
Yeah.
right. So I like this one. It's been doing me well, for when I'm recording something on the phone or teaching classes for the school.
Mm-hmm.
It does
Mm-hmm.
does make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think I've loved getting more and more portable with these things to be able to just use my phone or my iPad for as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, this has really, I looked around and I compared a couple things, and I just like the sound on this one the most. Even
Hmm.
even though when I record it, it makes a difference. But when I'm teaching, it's just, for the pleasure of the student. But
Hmm. Hmm.
um, I mean, I do have a couple of students that parents are a little bit tech savvy, so
Hmm.
one kid has like two microphones and
Hmm.
really really nice interface,
Yeah.
and they're really, we do a sound check before the lesson.
Wow. Yeah. I know Ross is doing that with this. He did like a tech run with everybody to make
Yeah,
sure they're. That's great. That's great.
is this Ross?
There's that's Asher there, and then up in the corner there's Mike Ross. Ross is the still photos at the moment. He's probably getting everyone onto the call. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
So one of our performers here, Asher, will be playing in the class today.
hey bud.
We have a couple of other people as well. Peyton and Nathaniel will be on it, and I think Mike Kagan is here also. So everyone, this is Goran Ivanovic, one of our guest artists, joining us for the class today. Has been guest here at the University of Louisville at least twice before with different groups with his duo and his group.
Yeah, go on, a big fan.
Yes,
Oh
that
man,
that
that's
CD is
awesome.
yeah,
You're the one. You're the
mhm,
one.
yeah, that CD is great.
Well, I'm happy to chat with you guys, and you know I was thinking, the best thing for me, obviously, get into some detail, but
Hmm.
also just talk and, like,
Yeah,
just answer some of the questions. And obviously, I do come from a classical background, and I do play classical guitar, but I don't really do the traditional repertoire in concert.
right,
So I'm happy to talk about, you know, arrangement and composition and my approach, my modest approach, but then also dive into, the pieces and the standard raps. So,
yeah,
you know, it's going to be
sure.
fun and chill.
Great. That sounds great. I know there's going to be so much to learn from the class, from your perspectives on, well, really even just a guitar career, because you have such a multifaceted uh, background with that and the different projects that you've been a part of. So
Yeah,
I'd love
absolutely,
to hear about that. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, Mike, do you have an update on our wait here? We're 5 minutes away still yet, but are
Yeah,
things going
I'm
smoothly
still
on the
waiting
back
for. I'll text Nathaniel and Peyton to make sure that they're hopping on. I'm sure Ross is probably doing the
end?
same.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
How's things in Louisville?
Oh man, they're just great. They're fantastic. We're really fortunate to be able to have in-person lessons and whatnot. I can kind of show you the setup that we have here. If I switch cameras, you can kind of see my studio is that way, and students are stay all the way over by the window. And then I have this like that little blue thing on the floor is an air purifier, and then there's a screen in between that thing and in my desk in the area that I'm in. So
Wow, that's
and we,
awesome.
yeah, we're wearing masks the whole time and everything as well. So
Yeah,
um, it's definitely not ideal to be in that environment and try to play and wear a mask, but it's so much better than trying to do everything online.
right. I at this point do have in person and have at home still.
Hmm.
Some of my families and students are, still pretty freaked out, which
Oh yeah,
understandable.
yeah,
But if I go to school, we sit, 6 feet apart. Everybody's wearing a mask.
right.
Everybody, I've known, most of my kids for years now and their parents, and we just have, understanding if somebody's sick, if there is anything going on, let's talk, keep,
Hmm.
keep it very, keep it very safe, but
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
man, like I started going back to the, school in-person classes like a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Hmm.
And I was just so happy to get out of the house. At this point, I was just like, hey, listen, like teaching online 3, 4 hours a day is, beats the commute and everything else, but I
Mm.
can't do this anymore.
Right, right. Oh yeah, yeah. It's taxing to listen in that environment for that many hours and try to
Yeah,
figure out what's happening with the students' hands and things that you normally would be able to see in an in-person situation. Definitely.
yeah.
I
Well,
understand.
I've been using a different platform, which is called Source Connect, and they have a few different apps that they use. One is designed for rehearsals. One is designed for just a lot of people talking, and so I've been getting the best sounds out of that.
Source Connect.
It's called Source Connect, and
Cool.
then there is Source Elements, Source Meet, and you're
Huh.
getting like high definition audio and video, and I was really pleased when I started doing that.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds great. We're not using any one particular thing. It's kind of piecemeal here at the university. You just kind of use whatever, and I got them to bring me on with a Zoom subscription, which is far better than the other options like Microsoft Teams and whatnot. That it's just a disaster for music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hey, Goran, before I forget, you're welcome to do. I know we all do so much online teaching at this point, so it's really whatever works for you. But I can also change my screen into the sheet music as well. So however you want to, if you want to look at the panelist while doing that, I can facilitate that for you too. So
Sure. Yeah,
whatever's good.
yeah. That'd be useful. Do you guys want to get started? Is Farid?
Yeah, I was wondering if Farid is able to join on right from the start of the class, or does Ross have an update on that? Okay, okay,
I just
um,
sent him a text.
okay.
Hopefully he's not confused about the time change. But if you guys want to start, we can start.
Yeah, we could. I think that would be fine. We are. We'll just give it a few more minutes because if we're going according to the list, we're waiting on Peyton to join in here. I see that she's over there. She's just not in on our call, so she's an attendee, but we just need her to be a panelist now. Yeah. So yeah, right. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, there's Peyton. Great, great, great. Well, let's go on and get this class underway. We've got 3 performers today in about 90 minutes, so about 30 minutes per performer. And we're joined here today by one of our great master teachers, Goran Ivanovic, who is a Croatian classical guitarist based in Chicago, Illinois. And Goran is one of the most multifaceted artists that we'll have on our panels here today. He, along with his duo member Farid Haq, form a guitar duo that is well versed in many different styles and rooted in the art of exploration in music. Goran himself was a young guitarist studying in Europe with the likes of Elliot Fisk and Joachim Klerch, winner of many prizes on classical guitar, playing the repertoire we're most familiar with on classical guitar, but now he's doing a lot of exciting things today. So along the way, Goran may be able to share some of those insights along with some of his ideas about teaching in these new online environments. I see here that Farid is about to join us. He's there as an attendee and will come into the call as a panelist. So in any case, Goran, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your generosity with being a part of this festival and offering your insights. Farid here as well. I can just share that Farid has, there's Farid. Hello, hello. It's so great to see you here.
Good to see you.
Good morning, Farid.
Good morning. I'm wearing my mask, so
Okay.
nobody has to worry.
That's right. Very good. We can put our masks over our microphones as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to get started first with one of my students, Peyton Mindel. She is a high school student from here in Louisville, Kentucky. And I think that she's going to play a little valse for us here today. Is that right, Peyton? Oh, it seems that Peyton is muted. So we'll get her unmuted. In the meantime, I was just saying, Farid and Goran, that we are looking at 3 performers today with approximately 90 minutes in front of us. So we'll spend about 30 minutes each on those.
Sounds great.
And as we get started, I'll step aside and let those on the call have their airtime.
So, Goran, are you going to be good cop or bad cop?
I don't know. I was just about to text you, so let's only text. Let's.
And we'll have to figure out which is which. Okay. And Ross, do you have anything, or Mike, any updates here on Peyton? I noticed that she just left the call, so we can just go on to another Nathaniel or Asher if we need to. Well, I'm going to go on and say, if you're Asher, are you okay to go ahead and play? Would you be all right with that?
Yeah, that's all right. I'm happy to go ahead.
You seem to be ready to go. Your video's on. Your sound is good. So we'll go ahead and have Asher play here, and then we'll just change the order up so that Peyton can work out whatever technical issues she may have. So looks like we're going to enjoy some Tedesco today, variations through the centuries. And I think, Asher, this is what you wanted to play, correct?
Yeah, correct. So I'm just going to play movements 3, 4, and 5. So waltz 1, waltz 2, and the foxtrot at the end. Double check my tuning here. And sound is okay for everybody?
Great.
Good.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Thank you.
Nice. I think this first round we're going to be getting accustomed to the technology here. We've got a chat. I should have opened.
Yeah, Frida, if you like, what I can do is monitor the chats and things like that, so you guys can go ahead and just worry about the lesson as you normally would, and I can unmute and tell you anything that there are questions or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about keeping track of that. I'll do it for you.
Great. I wanted to be able to see the score. I'm not finding that right now.
Oh, sure. There, you might have a view that you can look at. Michael Kagan is showing you the score there.
Yeah, I'm seeing it again.
Go to gallery view if you want to see it.
Gallery view.
Do you see the score scrolling now?
I do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Can
Yeah,
we
that's
go the score to very beginning, please? Great. Fareed, you wanna say something first?
sure. I think I'm assuming you're playing from memory there, right, Asher?
Uh-huh.
Beautiful. I couldn't tell because you were looking at the camera a lot, and I wasn't sure if you had the score there, like a teleprompter, or if you were. And so the first thing I wanted to say is that I think the piece is well prepared, and that's both a credit to you and Stephen there. It's really nicely and it's great to hear some comparatively lesser known music of Tedesco's here today. That's really nice. Tedesco, in addition to being known as a guitar composer, was also a film composer.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of his compositional style comes as much from his profession as it is, as a craftsman, as it does from his art as a composer. And I think as you look through his overall output, you can see just so much of his work is very thoughtfully and carefully crafted. And so there are a lot of elements here that are, in all of his music, very cinematic and very orchestral. A lot of attention to form and architecture. And, my overall sense is that you've prepared this very well, and that in a sense, you're kind of chugging through it a little bit. And that maybe we haven't studied the piece in great detail in terms of the architecture of what's happening here, so that we can use our ability to orchestrate to bring out some more of the drama here. I think there's a lot more drama in this piece. And I think using, obviously, color. I think your rhythm was very snappy, but then there were moments where it needed to relax, where it seemed like you were in a hurry to get through those sections. And like any bit of dialogue, it's the silences that are almost more powerful than the words, right? And how you say those words. So I think it would be great as we proceed today to find a couple of passages where we can just talk a little bit about the timing and the shaping of those with articulation, color, and rhythm to make them a little more three-dimensional. So maybe that's something we can look at. Goran, did you want to say a few words?
Yeah, just to chime in. I mean, first of all, I think this is the first time I hear this piece. So what I was thinking, when you're playing anything really, even simple pieces like Lagrima, you kind of have to have a mindset that you're playing it for somebody who's never heard it before, right?
Mm.
So having a really patient approach and um, very obvious way of starting and finishing a phrase, and um, having that musical direction be really clear to the listener. Um, what I noticed, that there were a lot of chords. For the most of the part, I was thinking that all the chords were played a little bit too short, and instead of waltz, I was like, "Hey, is this a march? Is this?"
Mm.
It struck me a little bit um, too many short notes and short chords versus, uh, you know, playing in a way that you tell me which chord is more important than the other. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so there are chords with no tension, with more tension, with more anticipation, and there are tricks and tools to go about that to make it very easy for me to understand how the music, uh, how this piece can function. Um, we'll probably get into color and those tricks that I mean, but um, would you mind playing the opening,
Sure.
uh, maybe just for a minute or so, just to check it out one more time? Sorry, can we start again? Is there a tempo marking for this, or does this feel good for you?
It feels pretty good for me, but there, on this score, there's not a tempo marking.
I would go like much slower. I would go bum dee da dum bum 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 ba dee da dum. Okay, what would happen if you wouldn't play that many staccatos in the bass line? I feel like the bass the lower notes and the higher notes in the chords that you're playing have kind of the attraction to each other, right? So
Mm.
if both the bass line and the chords are same kind of staccato playing, then we're not playing in a band. We're just playing solo guitar, and we want to be playing in a band. Um, so there is a way you can play that one chord sticks out more. I'm not going to play the right notes here, but adding more color and variety to the chords, and having that uneven time where when you're playing the bass note, it's not just 1 2 3, but it's like boom boom. So feeling that bass more, and let it ring out more, will have that attraction work harder, I think.
Okay.
So if I summarize everything in a shorter thing, I think you should be experimenting with playing those chords in huge variety of things. With quicker arpeggios, with slower arpeggios, with a Ponticello by super ponticello, but very light, and the hand almost like this. This is where you get that specific kind of Julian Bream sound, right? I think it's just, exploration and using all those things to help you, have the music more clear to the listener, and also adding more fun for you to enjoy where you're playing.
So, totally agree with what Goran is going here. I also want to point out that just looking at the score here and just the opening, it's full of legato markings, right? All of those lines over the chords mean that those should be sustained, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and then there's these crescendo and decrescendo markings. I don't tend to look at a score, dynamic, tempo, articulation markings, to tell me what to do. I look at those markings to tell me what the composer is thinking about, right? Mm. And then to find ways to bring that to reality on the guitar, obviously, or whatever instrument. And so when I look at this, just reading it here on my phone, and it goes to B minor, right? So going back to the top, Mr. Scroller, thank you. You see how this is much more, this is not a German Umpal waltz, right? This is a little more like Villa-Lobos 5, Prelude 5, right? Mm-hmm. Nice legato chords. So I want you to play this for us mezzo piano, much slower, and sustain every chord. And let's think dolce. Right now, when I first heard you play this, it sounded a little funny. Not like funny like a clown, to quote Joe Pesci, but like it was a little comedic. And as I look at the score, I see this is meant to be graceful and charming with these little crescendos. You know, he has these little umpapas, right? And I don't think they're meant to be too rough. Mezzo piano, crescendos in each one. So these, right? Those are swelling a little bit, right? That's what he's indicated. You see that? Mm-hmm. So play a little bit like that. Let's see if you can make this lyrical and legato as a first step here.
Sorry to stop you here. How about just like adding
exactly, hold that D, man, like just like Goran's doing.
Really, and even in just that first chord, try to balance with the right hand that you're getting a little bit more of the top note than the rest of the chord. Let me read this myself once. this is pretty awful interval, and I want to be able to feel that and extend that. So just really, I know it doesn't, there is no marking to do that, but it only makes sense, you know?
Sure.
When you're continuing with this, have a feeling of build up there. Don't just do that phrase out of don't roll over it, but really kind of slowly get into it, because this is where the timing starts to double up, and we don't want to rush towards that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think also let's point out that there's a decrescendo and then a crescendo, so it's meant to taper down and then move forward, right? There's a lot of expression and dynamics markings here. You're kind of blowing through.
Mm.
You're still playing forte, man. Mezzo piano. This should be delicate and gentle and graceful. Not an elephant at the church, in the circus. No. There's this little gracefulness here. It's a nice warm. I'm sorry, a little flat. So let's try. Do you see that in the third and fourth bars, the melody is repeated?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to hear that kind of like as a repetition.
Okay.
And a variation. So if I really think the biggest thing that we're struggling with is just playing it softer and playing it slower. But I think one of the problems is my sense is, hang on one second. My sense is that you're tapping your foot in one. But this is really
I do feel it in one.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the main problem.
Okay.
Because I feel like this is he's really giving you all the quarter notes and subdivisions in three. It's not da da dee da da dee, but it's boom ba ba b 2 3 1 2 3 1. So just feel it in three. I think it's gonna change the approach and give you more access to what you need here.
Mm-hmm.
Legato. Da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da dee da dee da.
Like, for example, right away, if you think of this, right? There is a phrase there that has to have a feeling of direction. It's not just right. So even the first chord, it's like if I was singing this, it would be like da 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 dee da da.
Yeah.
So maybe try try from there and try extending that first chord. Also using combination of short and long within the chords. I see it saying all long, but you can be a little more creative there, I think, you know?
Okay.
Keep it in 3 though, man. That made a huge difference in your phrasing.
Yeah. That's different than how I've considered it before.
Good one. Keep it.
I think if I may, sorry, we're stopping you so many times, but
No, it's okay.
I'm getting inspired to, to share, like how I feel, and I think you need to dig into, first 3 lines and discover the universe of possibilities from harmonic and guitaristic perspective. I would, instead of just going back and forth, I would say work on one line, and then try to add on something from yourself. For example, I just improvised. I added a little bit salt and pepper to this phrase, and now I can maybe just use those 3 measures and create a little piece based on those 3 measures, right? I think that's going to help you have a little bit more fantasy and developing curiosity with what you have, right? Fareed, do you want to add to that? Is that a good tool?
Yeah, I definitely think that, we talked earlier about how Tedesco was a very good architect and a very good craftsman. In addition to being a lovely composer, he really put a lot of thought into the phrasing and development of his pieces and the architecture. So all of what you see here in these first few bars is going to be reflected in the whole piece, right? So until you really have a loving understanding of what these opening bars are trying to say, it's going to be hard to see how he's then developing those ideas through the rest. Like, you need to really understand the theme of a fugue. You really need to understand the theme and the mood and the articulation, the expression, and the creativity of this piece. And so the more you can spend time on the beginning, the easier the rest of the piece is going to be to understand.
Okay. Yeah.
I really think exploring, like Goran was saying, using colors, but using colors for what, right? You need to know what the architecture is doing in order to see where those colors might make sense. And so, supporting what Goran was saying, that, looking at these phrases, improvising a little bit, and trying them different ways. There's not one right way to play this, but there's also a million completely wrong ways to play this, and so, an actor can say a line a million ways, and will eventually say, and these are the 3 ways that work. And so it's not just about some kind of abstraction. There is a logic to phrasing and stretching. Most folks say that when you stretch time here in the part of a phrase, you're going to get it back later. So that the overall feeling of tempo isn't really lost. And if you listen to the great players, interpreters playing in, very musical settings with a lot of rubato, you'll find that, wow, the overall tempo does stay, that they don't lose time. So there is sort of a, not really a right and a wrong, but there sort of is a language of expressiveness that's really important to understand. And the only way you can do that is by exploring it. No, you have to say, well, I just tried to play this line 60 ways. And of those ways, only a few of them, we could be. Right? Or. My phone is so small. That's crescendoing, right? Now, I'm not even looking at the dynamics. Third time he goes to the F sharp, right? Third time. I'm counting the F sharps because I know that he's telling a phrase, and that phrase has these dark chords, and you can follow the line and feel the dynamics that are in there. And then every time he goes back, there's a third time to the F sharp. So there's 3 iterations of this idea. Those iterations can't be the same. Not only because they can't be the same, because you got to let the audience know, hey, this is the same, but a little different. Right? So until you play these really slow, I mean, if I was practicing this piece, man, I'd be playing this, and I think Goran too, we would be playing this really slowly for a long time, kind of learning not just what the notes are to play technically, but what they are meaning musically. And so I really can't emphasize enough finding the groove, finding the right tempo, and then really playing the music slowly for a long time. And experimenting, like Goran was saying, with different ideas. Let's take that first phrase. Let's go back just a couple of lines there. Go forward. Let's go to the fourth system. Da da dee, dee da, dee da dee, right there. We start right there. In 3. Go back again. See, that's the second iteration of the F sharp. Do you see that? Bom, dee da dee, dee da da dee, lifting da, dee da da dee da da. Not yet. Da 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 da, falling da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da dee da 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 dee again. Falling. And so he lifts you to this little moment here 3 times, and let's see if we can make those 3 times evident to the listener.
Okay.
There's a million details one could work out here, an infinite number, but let's just choose a few. Let's focus on dynamics, so that even though it's getting softer and louder, you see that at the end of that fourth system, it needs to get to forte, right? You can't start the line forte if you want to have anywhere to go, right? The guitar has a limited dynamic range of any instrument except maybe the kazoo. So give yourself some place to go. Start softer. Let's try that again right there. Good. Now, he didn't write that last F sharp in the system as short. He wrote it as long. Da da da. da dee da dee da. So I want to hear that F sharp hold over the little A sus chord in the beginning of the fifth system. Let's take it from the last bar of the fourth system. Ah, beautiful. Once again.
Again.
Once again. No, very nice, very nice, very nice. Let's scroll up just a bit so we can see that fifth system. Scroll down, sorry. Right there, beautiful. Da da dee da dee dee da ya da 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 dee. You can see the little swells. All these little swells to me tell me this is impressionistic. This is not oompa band in the park playing with lederhosen and accordions, right? This is a very impressionistic waltz. And this repetition of this high F sharp, da, falling with these beautiful sus chords, right? This is lyrical music. Now, maybe later in the ragtime, it might get a little more oompa and but for now, this is very gentle. Let's take it from that last bar on the fourth system and really enjoy these three moments here.
And before you do, Asher, just for Eden, go on. Brilliant stuff going on here. We do have 2 more students to get to, so we'll start heading toward wrapping it up. But great stuff. Thank you.
Beautiful. Let's hear that one more time, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Maybe someplace to go.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Yeah, that was great. Now, you notice that the chord changes?
Yeah.
Right? The melody is more or less the same, you know. And then now, would you say that's the same feeling, or there's a chord of a different feeling?
Yeah, I think that one's considerably different.
You say that's a darker or brighter feeling?
I would say darker, maybe more. It's definitely more tense.
I think it's definitely darker. I would agree with you 100%. And so let's enjoy that. Right? Let's play that, and then we'll call it a day. Is that cool, Goran?
Yes.
Legato. Good. I think the more that you can explore the legato, the color of these first few phrases, play it in 3, you're going to see a lot of improvement. Goran, do you have a few last words here?
Yeah, explore your own emotional perception of this piece, and there is a tool you can do that. You know, sometimes we get so wrapped up in just, you know, it's difficult music, and you know there's a lot of chords and lines and whatnot, but use things from you know, that give you some kind of emotional direction, and use it in practice. For example, you have a favorite part of a romantic movie, or you know, dark movie, or anything really that has been sticking with you for quite some time, and use that as how you feel when you're playing a certain line. You know, like for example, you know, that's a feeling when I first met my wife. You know, it's very innocent, you know, a beautiful feeling, then things got more complicated, got a little darker, but we're good now, you know. So I think there's a tool where you can exercise how to use your own emotion in the music that is real and uh, uh, honest. So, but I think it's very important that you work on that and practice that.
Okay.
It's not. I don't think it's a. Oh, I have to feel something. You know, it's a constructed way that we find ways to use that in music, and hopefully it's authentic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thank you, man. Nice playing. Very nice.
Yeah.
Great job, Asher. Nice work, and thank you both for such a great class for Asher there.
Yeah.
Fareed and Goran, we're going to go on to our next performer. We were going to see Peyton first, and let's just see if we can get Peyton on here with a video and audio at the same time. Peyton, everything working there on your end now?
Wait, can you hear me? Oh,
We can hear you. I think so. Yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can get you all to see like my face and my right hand.
Yeah. That's always a challenge. Sure. Well, I think your left hand goes out of frame just a little bit. Can you scoot to your right or adjust your camera whichever way we need to go?
All right.
Okay, that seems pretty good. And we've got your score going a little bit there. Fantastic. Okay, well, I will let you guys go ahead and get started with this one.
Cool. Wait.
Beautiful,
Very
beautiful.
nice.
Hey, Goran, I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. You want to start something off? I'll be right back.
Yep. Yeah, beautifully played. Can I see top of the score, please, Mr. Moderator?
Goran, what was that? I'm sorry.
Oh, can I see the top of the score?
Oh,
Beginning
sure.
of the score? Can we tune up a little bit? I feel like your third string is a little flat. Can you go like this?
Oh.
Just a little flat, right?
Yeah, I tuned it earlier, but maybe it got out of tune.
Yeah, it's.
Or does that sound right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think there is a way to make this a little bit more interesting in terms of conversation between the lines, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like da do da dee da do da dee da do da do da do da do da do da do da dee da do da dee. So that's one way to see it. But then you have the counter melody or part of the accompaniment that also has dynamics in itself, right? So let's just say is the melody. Maybe yes, maybe no. Who cares, right? But then in between you have, right? And I would like to hear more conversation between those two parts, right? For example, you can have a little more of crescendo going into the next section. I think if you start playing with push and pull within, that simple material, it's going to be more interesting. Can we try again? Try to play overall a little bit more legato. Every time you repeat a section in this kind of music, you want to try sounding a little bit different. So, one way is, change the right hand positioning, playing, having an echo the second time, different tone color. Can we go from the beginning one more time?
Yeah.
Can we enjoy this first? I don't think it has to be. I think it can be just a hair longer. That makes the music swing a little bit more natural. So hang on to that A, and I want to hear in that second line, right?
Okay. I'm gonna go slower.
Mm-hmm. I think hang on to that A.
Wait.
Mm-hmm. Good. I would even go into an extreme.
Nice.
Go ahead, Farid.
Okay. So I think maybe we'll take two different approaches here. And I'll maybe jump in a little bit to just some nuts and bolts. Because I think we don't need to repeat the same musical things. I think all that musical stuff is super important and right on. But I was just going to address a few little technical things that I'm noticing. In the first phrase, which happens many times in the piece, right?
Mhm.
It seems like you're reaching back for that C sharp. Da 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 dee da dum. You're physically reaching your hand back for that note, and I'm not sure if you need to do that. You know, so if you're here, let me get a close up of the left hand, right? You have a very nice position, right? I'm not looking at the score; it's so tiny. We try that nice and slow. See if you can just as a practice aid, keep your first finger on the C sharp. There's no need for you to be moving out of position. What I'm seeing is a lot of this, right?
Yeah.
You're moving all the way. And of course, because you're moving, you know, I'd say a good 30% of the time you're missing that note.
Mm.
If I was to play it, if I needed to play it for some reason fast, right? I don't have to move that finger at all if I don't really want to. Now, I'm not saying you need to hold it, but just as a practice aid, let's practice that for a moment with that C sharp being held. A few more times. You can see that that's not that difficult, right?
Right.
It's just a little unusual,
Mm.
but it's not really that difficult. I think you can, one of the things that I notice is that you're kind of leaning your left hand this way. So your pinky is stretching to reach this the fifth fret here, right?
Yeah.
The fret under your fourth finger. If you straighten up just a little, if you notice how, you know, my pinky and is kind of almost pointing in a little bit. So if I don't need to stretch, I can. But when I'm in position, I have access to all of these comfortably, right? So I think as you go through this, you can work on that a little bit. Michael, I'm not sure if we're seeing the whole score here, but Peyton, let me ask you one question. Now, this is a little more general. Yeah, I see it's big. Okay, no problem. How many sections to this piece are there? Without looking at the score.
Honestly, I think there's three, but one of them kind of repeats. No, wait, no, there's four, but one of them kind of repeats, so it's more like three.
Okay.
The beginning, and then there's the next one, and then the beginning repeats again, and then there's the one at the end.
Right. One of the things that I try to do, because you know, as you get more and more into professional life, you're going to find you have to learn music quickly. And it's good to be a little organized about how you learn it so that you can, I think a lot of students waste a lot of time just reading from the beginning to the end. Then they go back and they make a bunch of mistakes and they read from the beginning to the end again. Then they go back and make the same mistakes. And all you're doing is really just practicing your mistakes, right? I try to learn architecture of the whole piece and then go to the first section and work it out and learn it once and then be done. I don't want to learn it twice. I learn it once, learn it the right way, you know? And so a lot of times I'll go through a piece like this, and before I even have learned too much, I've just maybe read through it once or twice to get an idea. I'll actually start marking in what the sections are, right? And then even practicing sometimes each section, each portion of the piece a little separately. I got the first section, now I'm going to work on the second part. Oh, the third part goes back to the first part, so that I already got. Then I got the next one. And then you have a little map in your head of what the sections are. And it's a little less intimidating. I'll tell you a story. I got a job playing the Aranjuez Concerto and the Villalobos Concerto on the same concert, right? First half was Aranjuez, Villalobos. Second half was Aranjuez. And I got real nervous because I was like, oh, that's two giant concertos that I have to play back to back, right? Then I was lying there. I said, actually, no, it's just one concerto with 6 movements. And I know these movements, so it'll be fine. And the way I thought about it completely made me relax and think about it differently. So say you have this piece here. It has 5 different sections, and 2 of them are the same, let's just say. Okay? Instead of thinking I'm going to start at the beginning and play all the way to the end without making a mistake and without having any issues, I say to myself, well, I have 5 little sections to play, and they're all relatively easy. I'm going to play the first one. Put that one down. I'm done with that one. I did that just fine. Now I got the next one. I know that one's a little different. I'm going to play that one. That's done now. Now I'm going to go back to the first one and play that one. So I have little pieces, little manageable chunks that I'm learning, but also little manageable chunks that I'm performing. So I'm never necessarily, when I was a student, I would sometimes think I was kind of holding my breath from the beginning to the end of the piece, right? And like hoping that like by the time I'm done, I can take a breath and, hopefully it happened. But with this little approach, you have a little section, you have a little cup of tea, and then you have that sip, and then you have your cookie. You go back for another cup of tea, sip of your tea, you get a little piece of cheese, go back to your cookie, and you go home. And every one of those little pieces is very manageable. So really organize the piece, practice each section, and I think that'll lower the overall angst of learning a piece like this. And work on that left hand too. Goran?
Yeah, so absolutely everything you said, very, very true. I think if your goal can, for next couple days, couple weeks, can be to only play it slow and find a way to enjoy it the most you can, playing it really slow. That said, also adding dynamics and different tone colors and understanding of what chords have what chords should be more present than others, right? What chords have more tension than others, right? Right? Like this feels. So the second section, in my opinion, would start. Right? That diminished chord has more tension. So if you are able to draw your own map with all these little rules that you set for yourself, like for example, each section repeats. First time you do it mezzo forte, second time you do it mezzo piano. Then you say to the second section, first chord is diminished, second is just a major chord. Always have the diminished chord be more present, right? If you can enjoy that and be able to practice like that, So really kind of go to extreme with adding all these ideas that you have, but do it really slow and then see what happens. That's one thing. Another thing is all those pull-offs that you have. If you can get in the habit doing, sort of stop yourself every time you have a pull-off and focus on the quality of the aftertone, right? Really enjoy that, and I think when you get in the habit of practicing like that for a while, when you play it in tempo, it's just going to be enjoyable. So learn how to enjoy things very slow, and then it's going to translate when you perform it. Performance tempo.
I think that's totally right on. Why don't we try that? Because I noticed that one of the things a lot of folks struggle with is just actually playing slowly. So let's try playing it really slowly and see how that feels.
Be careful about that open E. There is no reason why that E should be stopped.
Yeah, if the composer wanted it stopped, they would have put it on the same string. Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
Can you use 3 and 2 and 3 there on the little E7 chord?
Like this.
No, on the next, the previous little.
Oh, that one. Like.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to reposition.
Oh, I like that so much better.
Yeah, nice and slow. Let's not. We're starting to drift back to our fast tempo. Let's keep it nice, slow, and try that new fingering. No shifting there.
What do you mean?
No, you're shifting your hand to that C sharp.
Okay.
There should be no real big movement of the wrist there.
If you're practicing slow, enjoy every chance you have to play an interval, right?
Yeah.
So just try to sustain a little bit longer every time you're playing 2 notes at the same time, right?
Right. Okay.
Good.
I would, if you can take all these things that we were talking about and practice one section, but really try to listen that all the notes are perfectly legato and extend the open strings so they overlap with notes underneath. If you can focus on all these different lines that are happening and play legato every time you have an interval, even slow down, for example, like slow down every time and let that ring out a little bit longer than you would normally play. Um, I think that's what you can work for next couple weeks, and see if it's more enjoyable. You know.
Yes, that was great. I think we're just about at time here. If you want to switch to Nathaniel, thank you so much, Peyton. That was beautiful.
Keep it up.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Very,
Yeah, Peyton.
keep it up. Keep it up.
Hey, bud.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, just go ahead.
What is this piece again?
It's Napoleon Coast, Opus 38, number 13.
Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah, man. Really good. Really good. I really liked your natural sense of shaping the phrase with a little more warmth, a little more flexibility. I felt a nice natural architecture when you were playing through the piece, and it didn't feel really rushed. Um, and it was nice, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, you were playing, you were doing a lot of dynamics within the chords. It just everything made sense. It was, you know, um, not all the chords have the same importance. And when you played, it was fun to hear too, and understand. I could understand it very easily. I did feel that those pull-offs and
Yeah, there were some that I kind of worked on.
I think if you just like play it slower, enjoy it a little bit more, it could be, it could be like a dramatic effect that it should stand out a little bit more. Can we play it from beginning one more time?
Okay.
Let's get those real quick. So when you play that pull off, it's important to practice pull offs that are not just sort of the rock and roll. I lift my finger up and hope for the best, right? But it's actually like a thing. how do you, so are you actually, I can't really see your left hand super clear. Much better. You're actually plucking and resting on the string above it. Yeah, I'm not sure why you use little fingers. Is there a reason for that?
What was that?
I would probably use my third finger there. Because it leaves your little finger free.
I don't know why I don't know why I did that. I think it might have just been because I was preparing to have it on that same fret above, but the third finger probably makes more sense.
Let's keep going from there. I think the third finger is better, but you know, whatever works. Okay, this is romantic music, but it's sort of early. I mean, guitar players are always about 30 years behind the times, right? And so, first of all, every time I'm hearing this, I'm not sure that a portamento is appropriate in this style. If it was Tired Guy, I wouldn't care, you know? So I think the ornaments in this case are a little more of an appoggiatura. Not, in Spanish, you might hear it. But this is.
So play it more on the beat and hold it for longer, basically.
It's basically, imagine that it's a suspension, an appoggiatura. So that G has to be, hang on a second. That G has to be held, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Nate, hang on one second. You want to play that G and listen to it and hold it and feel it resolve down to the F.
Okay.
Da 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 dee da da dee da da. That means a little accent on the non-harmonic tone, an accent on the G in that bar, and an accent on the D, the next bar, so that it really wants to fall into that. You know, if you were to play it really slowly.
I guess I wasn't paying as much attention to the period this was written in, so.
Let's right now, the F is sounding louder than the G. Make the G louder. Da da dee da da. Better, better. Better. You want to keep going? know, the other thing I think, Nathaniel, is on those triplets. Let me go back to those triplets and the Neapolitan chord. When you have I think a little more articulation. Yeah. None of that sliding. Clean.
So you don't want that sound at all, right? Okay.
Yeah, and I think those notes are 3 notes as opposed to the one note, right? And then 3, right? And the stem of the bottom one is going down, right? The D of the B flat and the C of the A minor. So those are meant to be part of the bass line. So I think thumb on that note. What I'm hearing right now is ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba, right? It's too much.
Sorry.
About the phrase da 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 dee da 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 dee. Think about that last chord not as an arrival point, but as a departure point. It's da 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 da. So those chords just da 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 da.
If you just play them a little bit longer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just let those chords, maybe add a vibrato and just let them sound longer than you were playing normally, right? Right?
I think also that it's much better. I think also keep in mind that the loudest note of that phrase should be the F. Try to do this. Da 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 da. Shh, da 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 da.
Okay.
Make those chords softer.
And I really think what Farid said, having thumb play the low note is going to balance that chord even nicer, right?
Yeah. Right. Now, in that last bar, remember that this is not the beginning of the phrase. That A minor chord is not the beginning of the phrase. That A minor chord is the end of. Then maybe we can scroll down real quick. It's okay. Can we take it from that? Yeah, let's go right from there, from that system with the A minor ascending. Da, 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 da. No. This is a good. This line is. See that? That's that middle voice. Then on from there. But he purposely puts those pull-offs. This is a guitar player, right? So we got to pay attention to his pull-offs and articulation marks, because that's how he wants it played.
Yeah, can you keep going from maybe like measure 48? From here.
Verse 48. Sorry. The main theme again.
Don't rush that though. Right? What is that a return to?
The main theme.
The main theme. So you want to don't just rush into it. You want to let people go, hey guys, remember this?
Maybe hang on that G a bit longer.
Right. So take your time with that. And isn't there a retard written there, Nathaniel?
Yeah.
Da da dee. Right. So those last two notes before the a tempo, are they part of the what section are they a part of?
The B is, it's a resolution of this suspension here. And then this is the first part of the next phrase.
So
This
da 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 dum da 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 dum.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, and 1. Da dee da 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 dee da dee da da. Play it from the beginning of that line again.
Okay.
That was fun. Good, good. Goran, do you have anything else?
I mean, what you know, this sounds perfectly fine. Are you working on anything else?
Um,
Any other pieces at the moment?
Before I worked on this piece, I was looking at Giuliani Opus 139, number 5.
Great. I was just going to suggest you're. How old are you now?
I'm 16.
16. I think it's a good time, good age for you to find a piece that's really going to kick your butt a little bit.
Yeah. Well, just a couple days ago, my friend sent me this piece, Toy Gramea.
Sure. I mean, I think this piece is great and fine, but I think you're perfectly capable of playing something harder, both musically and technically. Right? So, I mean, there is something, fun about, playing Adelita and Lagrima all the time. It's easy. It's a good warm-up piece. I think this piece is a good warm-up piece, but, if you can start working on some of those Villalobos etudes, and really get into the there you go. Maybe you should have played something like that instead of this piece. It's a great piece, but
yeah, I just looked at this one because I felt like I can move my fingers plenty, but I wasn't very. I just looked at this piece to work on musicality and phrasing a little bit.
I think it's good.
Well, even something like that Villalobos prelude, you really want to be able to shape that, right? It's not just, this is Brazilian music. A lot of people play those bits of those pieces as if they're just trying to blow away the first row of guitar players in the audience. And that's not really that interesting, not even to the guitar players. See if you can play this. I'm losing all the top notes there. Give me this just as much. Not. That's what I'm getting when you're doing it. The top three notes aren't really part of the phrase, but I need to hear it. That means don't necessarily favor the thumb so much. Right now it's. Getting louder as you go down, right? Control is really where you're going to get virtuosity and also rhythm, right? If I play, that's not very exciting, but if I go, that hits home right away, right? So play that as if it's a groove. It's Brazilian music, man. There's drums behind there somewhere. Let's just try just the first few parts of that, first few bars.
That's great, guys. Just these first few bars, and then we'll have to move on to the next thing. But
okay,
great so far. Yeah, I'll let you guys finish up.
Speeding up, it's speeding up. It's speeding up. Let's be before we do any creative tempo.
Okay.
Let's enjoy the metronome.
So what tempo?
Well, any tempo you set, just keep it.
forget the
right.
waltz. But
It's okay. It's okay. It was much better. The first half was much better. We really need to think about balancing the thumb, and this is true in all of the pieces you played, including the this other one, the cost, right?
Mhm.
You want to balance the thumb and the melody, right?
Yep.
So really take your time with that.
All right.
But excellent play, man. Very good. Very
Thank you. Thank you.
Great, guys. Great class, Nathaniel. Nice playing. And Fareed and Goran, just brilliant comments. Really stuff to take to heart. We should kind of enshrine some of those quotes that you guys had here today. Some real great themes for us to take. We have just a couple of minutes for any kind of Q&A that might come in through the chats or the other platforms, but I just kind of wanted to just mention to you guys who are here on the call and interested in Fareed and Goran's playing. They were supposed to be here in Louisville giving us a great concert tonight, but due to the pandemic, of course, that didn't happen. They're going to be back with us in next edition of the festival to give that concert for us. And we're going to work out those dates to make sure that they are back here on the concert stage in Comstock when we're back in person in concerts. And we can't wait for that to hear their artistry there. And with that, Fareed, Goran, do you guys have anything to add that you wanted to kind of cap off the class with? Anything that you're hearing or thinking about these days that our students might benefit from?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there is all kinds of things all the time. What I always work on with my young students is, let's say they're working on Lagrima or something simple. I ask them to think of that as a pop song, So play chords, sing the melody over it, and it's a struggle because a lot of times, I'm teaching. And kids would sing the melody. I would say that's a D minor chord, and they would sing the melody. Da, 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 do, da, do. And we have to really, one of the first things I go with the kids, show me the melody, show me the counter lines, and show me the bass line. A great tool is figuring out the chords, simplest chords possible to the song, and singing the melody. As an exercise, it's really great tool, and I think everybody can use really simplifying ideas when they're first getting into their music.
I think another way of saying that, I 100% agree, is it's even if you were an actor, if you know the story, it's very easy to say the lines, to remember your lines. And if you have a little moment, you can improvise. Whatever, you can make up some words, or you can take your time with the words, linger over the words, because you know the story. And we don't lose track of where we're at because we have the story guiding us. And if you're playing a piece by just looking at the notes first, you're probably not even aware of the story for some time. You've got to learn the story of that piece, learn the melody, learn the chords, learn the harmony, learn the intention, the feeling of the piece. Once you have that story learned, Little Red Riding Hood, that's the happy part, walking to grandmother's house. And then the wolf, that's the scary part, right? And so if you can begin to figure out what the story is of a piece, know what the melody is, know what the harmony is doing, know what the drama is, then it'll guide your technical decisions and allow you to really take or give as much time as you need in any given session, given section. I noticed that. How many times have I heard some of the great players playing pieces, and I realized that they're playing it. It sounds virtuosic and beautiful, and sometimes stunningly fast. But then you really listen carefully, you say, "Wow, that's actually slower
Yeah.
than
Mm.
other people played it. You know,
Mhm.
but the idea is clear and the
Mm-hmm.
story is clear. So learning that story means it's going to be technically easier and technically more. You'll be technically more in command. You can make your own decisions. So
Sure.
I definitely think that of all the players we heard today, playing slower and learning that story would be a help.
Absolutely. That's so great. I love the way you're phrasing that. The no pun intended with the phrasing there, but yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, Farid Goran, thank you so much for your artistry, for what you've contributed to the class today. Really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to another class coming up here. So we have to transition here in the virtual world to kind of pivot to a new class, and we'll let you go for now. But we're looking forward to watching the competition finals tonight at 6 o'clock.
6
That's
o'clock
seven-
Central.
5 o'clock Central, 6
5
o'clock
o'clock
Eastern. Yeah,
Beautiful.
that's
Okay.
right.
Looking
Yeah.
forward. Thanks so
Looking
much.
forward
All
to
right.